Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of The Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 6, This Extraordinary Being. Right off the bat, nothing but spoilers. Holy fuck, this episode was amazing. I actually went through, found a great Watchmen shirt just for this episode. It blew my mind. And you could tell that it was going to be a good episode right from the beginning. Any episode that starts with a warning is going to be a good episode, where it was all about the strobe effect, and it's okay, we get it, whatever. Moving on, I actually really like the opening sequence where it starts with the Watchmen and you see somebody blow out cigarette smoke or something, and it changes to the Minutemen. And so the Minutemen TV show has been ongoing throughout this whole series. It's actually reminiscent of the actual graphic novel, where you're reading the main storyline, but then there's the Tales of the Black Freighter underneath the main story. Throughout this whole series, there's been another TV show beneath it about the Minutemen. And we learn all about Hooded Justice, and he actually takes his mask off, and you're holy shit, that's who Hooded Justice is. And then you realize it's just part of the TV show, and you're oh, okay, I get it, it's funny. They've really been focusing on Hooded Justice a lot. I'm gonna tell you right now, again, spoiler alert, this episode, there's so much foreshadow for this series that I didn't catch, which is amazing. I like that I didn't catch it. Most notably, we've seen Hooded Justice over and over and over again. In every episode of the Minutemen, did not realize how important of a character he was going to be until this episode. Even then, Sister Night, where she spray paints her eyes black and stuff, again, did not realize how important that would be until this episode. I'm absolutely loving it. So we, right off the bat, it's a continuation of the last episode where Angela shoots all of the pills. I can take a handful of pills with a glass of water or something. It's impressive. She just downs this bottle, and it's shit. And it's nostalgia. And Lori talks about it a little bit, how Lady True came up with it, putting chips in there, and that's what the memories are, and it's all sorts of illegal. And 90% of this episode is all flashback, and it's great. I'm totally down for it. Beware of the Cyclops, stuff like that. Mostly it's all about Will, being a cop, which we learned about, that her grandfather was a cop, and just him being a black individual with predominantly white cops, and how they treat him, and how they completely skip over him, and the black cop has to tell him, I get to pin this medal on you, beware of the Cyclops, and so on and so forth. And it's great. It's amazing to watch the way he does this. And then when the cops finally beat the shit out of him, and as soon as he puts the hood on, you're wait, no, hold the fuck up. Is Will Hooded Justice? It's amazing. This episode is the turning point that I've been waiting for. This whole series has been great all the way through, but this is the episode that you're I did not fucking see that happening at all. On top of that, we finally get to that point where Will has to pretend to be Hooded Justice and actually spray paints himself white so he can blend in. Because people are only going to accept the vigilante if he's one of them. And they're not. So it's great to actually see him blend in. And you're how fucking far back can this go? It's just mind-boggling. It's so great. And then, the whole, gay subplot, because even in the original graphic novel, there was, rumors, Rorschach's Journal was all about, was Hooded Justice and Captain Metropolis an item or not? And throughout this series, we've seen them together. Evidently they were. And as soon as they revealed oh, Hooded Justice was actually Will, I was well shit, there goes the whole gay subplot. Nope, I'm wrong. He's banging Captain Metropolis. So I was this show is one twist after the other. I can't even keep up with it. When he finally goes in and just kills everybody in the warehouse, you can't help but cheer. Like, he's finally getting his revenge on all of these people. And then finally, of course, they flash forward to the Lou Gossett Jr. character as old Will. And it's like, how did he kill, like, the Don Johnson character of the sheriff? And he's got this flashing gun that's supposed to, like, hypnotize him. Like, that's where it started to lose me a little bit, where, like, as he's flashing the gun at him, it makes him do whatever he wants, and he actually hangs himself. And it's like, that's a little bit of a stretch for me. Like, that one I didn't care for as much. And also, like, if he's Hooded Justice, I get he ran away, he hid his identity, I fully support it. When the Watchmen finally came about, why wasn't he mentioned? Like, only the comedian went from the Minutemen to the Watchmen. So why didn't Hooded Justice at least make an appearance or a shout out or something? He just disappeared. So stuff like that. And finally, when Angela wakes up, presumably them taking the nostalgia out of her, Lady True is right there, which is probably one of my favorite characters of this series. Like, she's absolutely great. So overall, this episode blew me away. Like, I was totally shocked, on the edge every single minute. Did not expect Will to be Hooded Justice, did not expect any of this season. Like, it's amazing. So for those who have seen it, we're almost done. I think there's only like 3 more episodes left. What are you guys thinking about so far? Like, how does this change your opinion on the comic? Like, does it completely ruin or retcon anything for you? Let me know. I will see you guys next week for an almost religious awe.